Lumber farming, decor and player housing could be worth millions of gold in midnight. I know, you farmed lumber to death months ago and the markets are dead, but just hear me out on this one. Today I want to talk about what is probably going to be the most profitable of all the lumbers we have seen, and that is midnight lumber, and why this is going to be so different. What is going to happen with this crafted decor will be significantly different to what happened when we got housing early access back in December. Back in December, then many gold makers farmed like crazy. Some made tens of millions of gold from it, although they did really put some crazy hours in to get that. But for a while, it was really good for those that wanted to make some gold. The issue was markets got saturated. The lumber was so easy to farm, the majority of recipes were really easy to get, so we had no barriers to entry and everyone had access to pretty much everything. But that wasn't even the biggest issue. The biggest factor that killed the lumber farming and decor crafting markets was that the gold farming and professions were pretty much dead as it was the end of the expansion. Suddenly we had this new thing come along that was making some good gold. That means that everyone who wanted to make some gold flooded to lumber farming and decor crafting. The decor market crash then was a combination of how easy it was for everyone to access the recipes and farm lumber, no real barriers to entry, and the fact that everyone who wanted to make some end of expansion gold flooded to it. There was also another factor working against the decor market. Everything you sold was only to those that had early access to midnight. Anyone who did not pre-order midnight did not have housing yet. It's easy to think that everyone just ordered it, but that's just not how it works. You are only selling to a minority of the player base. All those factors then, barrier to entry, limited demand, oversaturation of supply, completely different when it comes to midnight lumber. Firstly, we will obviously have a full release of player housing. No more limitations on buying decor. There will be more demand for all the stuff previously farmed, but there will probably be even more demand for the midnight decor as no one has even got any of this yet. As for barriers to entry, let me give you an example. In Eversong, we have multiple mini factions, like in the Undermined, when you can basically push progress on one of these at a time. Recipes locked behind these reps are not just locked behind a reputation grind. Those that do the grind are split 4 ways between the different reps. Then, when you eventually unlock the rewards, the decor recipe crafts, the cost of these are not exactly cheap. Firstly, you need Void Light Mal. This is a mixture between Resonance Crystals and Kedge from the War Within. Secondly, you need Profession Moxie and New Arts and Security. Now the price here isn't exactly high, it's basically the same as every Profession recipe. The point is, you have your enchanting skill up, you have your Moxie, you have your Void Light Mal. Are you going to spend it on being able to craft a decor floating candle decoration? Or are you going to use it to unlock, say, a recipe enchant, something like a weapon enchant that you can use concentration on to make gold from? I imagine most people would choose to enchant, and that is probably the correct choice in the majority of cases. But the fact is, someone will choose the floating candle decor and will make some good gold selling it. Quick advert for the gold making community Discord. Free midnight gold making guides on there for everyone. Link to that is in the description below. Now, not every decor recipe in midnight has all these barriers to entry. Most of the profession seems to have something that comes from a trainer. But the point is, there's a lot of options here where these recipes take a lot more time or a lot more resources to pick up, and players can't pre-farm access to the recipes like they did when early access came along. Probably the biggest factor in why midnight lumber decor crafting is going to be the best of all of them is simply because the competition is just going to be significantly lower. Basic herb and mining will be bringing in crazy amounts of gold per hour. Professions, all of them, will have good profit margins again. Everyone will be busy setting up concentration characters. There are just so many other simple, reliable ways to make good gold at the start of an expansion, then why mess with something that is more of a risk like decor? A factor working against midnight lumber and decor crafting is that the materials going into these are obviously going to be more expensive because it's the start of a new expansion, and they're going to lose price potentially quite fast. Anyone crafting this decor has to be careful and take this into account. And basically the point of this video is, I'm not here to say, oh my god, midnight lumber farming and decor crafting is going to be absolutely insane. Although I think it could do quite well. In fact, I want to be very clear on this. This is not the best gold making opportunity in midnight. There are other things that you can do that will make you more, and there are definitely safer bets like mining herbalism or concentration. But the fact that we have midnight decor market that is starting from scratch, like when early access released, but with more barriers to get the recipes, more demand from a full player base, and just less competition as everyone's doing the more reliable stuff, it's just going to make this market much more interesting than when we had the early access release. Overall, I just think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And I'm really curious about your thoughts on this one. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? How's the midnight lumber decor crafting market going to go? And if you've enjoyed the discussion, please feel free to give the video a like.